Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Bayonetta. In the last episode, we faced the first major boss, Fortitudo, and we started Chapter 5 here. Did not have such a good time with the first Alpine verse, but that is now behind us. So I'm going to run back, all the way back to where we were before, and we will move on. So, there's another verse here. You have some enemies. I don't think these platforms will stay around forever, so try to be quick with your attacks. I will gladly take that green laurel. I need some health after those Grace and Glory from the last episode as well, because they did quite a number on my health bar. So I think that's the last of them. Looks like it. Camera's being a bit finicky. But let's move on here. We're going to trigger a cutscene.
Huh. My lipstick.
Nothing. Damn. What the?
I've often seen a girl without lipstick, but lipstick without a girl? Most curious, isn't it, Cheshire? What's also most curious is how a child like you is kept afloat in this town.
The name is Luca! And don't you think it's a little strange to be worried about my well-being? Sure, the Festival of Resurrection is peak security. The thing only happens once every 500 years. Can you blame them? Besides, when you look as good as I do, security isn't a problem. But a killer like you, on the other hand, I'm sure you found a way.
That little girl. I've seen her somewhere.
Hey, don't go freaking out on me. We both know you came here for something. But what you don't know is the closer you get, the harder it's gonna be for you to get away from me and what you've done. You'll have to fess up to it all. I can't wait for you to get your hands on whatever it is you're after.
Let me guess, you want a cut? Well, if you're still alive by then, perhaps you can appeal to my generosity.
Still alive? You may be standing right in front of me, but you're definitely not living in reality. Which is a shame, because the truth is always going to be the truth. All I see when I look at you, the real you, is the truth. The truth is, you killed my father. I don't care who believes me. They can't reject the truth. The truth will set me free from your black stain on my life. The truth will allow me to expose you to the world. Then, I'll have won. And I'll do it without stooping to your level. Because I'm not a heartless witch like you. Whoa, whoa! What are you gonna do? Kill me in plain sight? Go ahead. It would only prove everything I've said about you. Well, that and sadden the hearts of a number of young ladies. Claire, and Trish, and Sylvia, and Amy. Oh, you don't want to piss her off, let me tell you. Hell hath no fury. What the?
So, we've met Fearless before. This is its counterpart, Fairness. Has a similar build, but instead of launching fireballs at you, it will use its tail, kind of like a scorpion, to lunge at you, attack you that way. It does have a kind of comparable attack to Fearless, in that it will kind of shoot out this ray of electricity across the field, but other than that, they're fairly similar. And so we actually have a pair of them to deal with. Oop. I was actually kind of surprised I dodged that one. I felt like that was too late. So that should be the end of verse 4. It was actually continued from before the cutscene there. At the very least, should be the end? I guess it's not the end. Alright, well, we'll keep on going. Oh, there we go. What I want to know, though, is how did Luca get into this area when, you know, we had a journal entry saying how difficult it was to actually get to this area in the first place? Nope. I heard that sound of the sousaphone player, you know, attacking me, and I could have sworn that, you know, I was gonna get the timing on it, but apparently I was just a little bit too late. Yep, I think, yep. The ground crumbled out from beneath me and fell down. So I think we do get another chance at this. So, give it another shot. But Luca's a very interesting character in terms of his past with Bayonetta and the fact that, you know, he has a very good reason to dislike her. And she doesn't seem to, you know, have an answer for him about what happened to his father, and I might be screwed here because of the torture attack. I don't know if I'm gonna get the points for this or not. Okay, so it looks like the enemies aren't spawning anymore, so should be the end of the verse. There's a crow here to the right. So did well in the combo, okay on the time. So with that verse, you really have to keep moving if you want to get a good score on it. And of course, as always, don't get hit. So there's also a note here to the left, heavenly manipulators. The Umbra, which is sacred Crescent Valley, is said to contain enormous relics harkening back to the valley's place as a training ground in the witch's supernatural magic arts. The long bridge that snakes between the cavernous ravines of the valley, stone circles hinting at the celestial principles, training chambers where death was wagered in hopes of polishing one's skills in life. All of these are depicted in the tattered records I have obtained. I know not if they ever truly existed, however, the magnificent appearance of the witch statue in the distance seems to indicate that the legends passed down through history are, in fact, real. Amongst these numerous artifacts, the most mysterious are known as heavenly manipulators. I have already described how the Umbra witches drew their power from the darkness and the Lumen sages from the light. However, I have not mentioned how these powers were at their greatest during the full moon or at the peak of the sun's ascent. The two groups created the heavenly manipulators to affect the movement of the moon and sun, and these devices played a role in the clan's most important of ceremonial rites. If stories are to be believed, the clans could affect even the ways of the cosmos at will. The powers of witch and sage were not common knowledge, although, as overseers of history, one could imagine that they must have had appropriately powerful abilities, making their ultimate destruction even an even more ironic end. So don't worry, we'll be seeing plenty more of Luca in the future. For now, though, we're going to actually use this heavenly manipulator here so that we can change it to nighttime. And so we're actually getting introduced to a new mechanic here, so we can use our witch walk to walk up this right here. Once you jump through this, you're going to be kind of falling sideways. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but the best way to do it is just to see it. So you have some enemies along the way that you can hit to run into. So you don't have to do anything special, just try to aim yourself to run into them. And you will get a score for this, so do try to hit as many of them as you can. So I did get most of them there, not all of them, but once you land on the other side, we're going to have a pair of grace and glory to deal with. One thing to note about them is that they will block your shots. From your gun, so just be wary of that. That strategy will not work on them. So that should be enough to take that one out. So it had barely like a sliver of health left. So I actually find that using Sharaba is effective against them. Seems to kind of cut through their attacks and actually is better at landing hits than the Scarborough Fair is. So we have an introduction to a new enemy here. I could have sworn that I hit the dodge button, but the game disagrees. These are harmonies, so they basically always appear in groups, and that was weird. So they have some interesting attacks. They can shoot things at you. They can also attack you with their tails. The torture attack for them is a chainsaw, which, unlike most of the other torture attacks, which once you use it on that one enemy, it just goes away. You can actually keep the chainsaw and use it as an angel arm. So I'm going to try to do that as long as they keep on, running away from me. I'm not going to be successful, which they're doing a very good job of doing. So I think it takes 2 hits from the chainsaw to kill them. So okay, that was really rude. Like I was trying to hit it there, and then suddenly I got a witch time, lost the invulnerability, and the game just said, yeah, you're getting hit here. So for defeating all that group of enemies, you will get part of the Angelic Hymn Gold LP. The game is taking a little while to load. So to the right is a chest that contains a broken witch heart. Make sure that you grab that, and then I'm gonna run up the stairs here. Beware the gusts of wind that are kind of blowing through. They will hurt you. You can dodge out of the way of them, but it's a bit tricky to do, so I generally just try to jump over them if I can avoid it. So part of the way up the stairs, if you jump off to the left here, there's another chest that has part of a broken moon pearl. Actually, it is a broken moon pearl. It's part of a complete one, is what I meant to say. And then there's also a note here as well. The Witch's Tears of Blood. Beginning in the 15th century, the whole of Europe has been swept by a madness, a tragic event unprecedented in the whole of human history, the witch hunts. As a result, the dark clan of Umbra witches were wiped from the pages of history forever. Working at the behest of the powers that be, and making use of their magical arts, the witches watched over the passage of time within the human world. Or at least they did, up until suddenly being swept up in waves of persecution, and finally crumbling away under the pressure of the people's harsh recriminations. The woman's sorrowful blood-stained tears crystallized into bright red gemstones, and according to the Vigrudian legend, are said to be scattered everywhere. These stones, filled with their feelings of regret, are known as Umbra tears of blood. To this day, the people of Vigrid believe that should 100 of these stones be brought together as one, enormous calamity shall befall the land. Yet no one has actually seen one of these gemstones, the ultimate of witchly souvenirs. They must be found for you by a crow, a beast whose heart lies in resonance with the departed witches. These crows act as the witches' loyal servants, protecting their tears from falling into human hands. So the Umbra Tears of Blood, there are 100 of them total, as the game just mentioned there. And you get half of them from... Actually, I don't know if it's exactly half, but you get some of them from the crows that we've been picking up a few of. And then you can also get them as achievements for doing various things. So that includes, completing some of the chapters in the game, as well as fulfilling special requirements like doing so many torture attacks or things like that. So those techniques that I want are still locked, so I think for now I'm going to pick up another witch heart and we'll call it that. So that is the last one that we can actually buy. And of course, there are a limited number of those. So we'll be moving on to buying the moon pearls. I always prioritize getting more health as opposed to getting more magic meter, because filling up all 3 bars of the magic meter, I'm not saying it never happens, but if you're using your magic well, then it's something that's less important than having enough health. So that's personally what I tend to do if I'm starting a new file. So I'm going to break these pots here. And actually one thing that I haven't done in a while, so I'm going to get into the pause menu here. I haven't done this in a while. We should probably try concocting some stuff because we have quite a few of the required ingredients for it. So generally, I'll focus on making the green herb lollipops, just because I find them the most useful. The purple ones, as I've mentioned before, do give you magic meter, but you can get that just by fighting normally, so I find it less worthy, to make those compared to some of the other things. So, oops, not done yet. Alright, so I'm going to check. Okay, we don't have all of them set, so I'm going to take this one and set it there. Alright, so now we're all set. So what you need to do in order to progress here is you need to double jump off the top of this platform and land on that switch with some force. So if you just try to jump on it normally, you obviously won't be able to depress it enough to open the door. So we have a very tall tower here. I believe once we try to go up the stairs, it will start a verse. At least I think that's supposed to happen. Guess we'll find out. There we go. This is an ardor. So it's another one of those bipedal enemies, kind of like the Applaud and the other ones. We actually have two of them to deal with at once here. So these guys can be a bit tricky. They do have shields, which means they will be able to block your attacks. Okay, I could have sworn that I actually got that and that. Oh man, this is not going so great. That should take out the first one. It'll make our lives a little bit easier. With some of their attacks, like you see I got hit by the first hit there, and then I was able to dodge the second one. You can do that with some of their attacks here, which does make your life a little bit easier. That was not great. Got 2,400 damage, which is really, really awful. But I think we're getting up there on time, so that will do it for this episode of Let's Play Bayonetta. Thank you very much for watching. I've been redxparasite, signing out.